Now the strikes are over, DC news is starting to come out, and now we have our first update regarding Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Hey everyone, welcome back to our movie news. Our very first piece of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow news has just been released. Now, like I've said previously, now the strikes are over, the DCU news will just keep coming, and this is the first of many. Not only do we have Supergirl news, but we also have updates regarding a rearranged DCU schedule that I know will be controversial, so stick around for that. But starting with Supergirl, James Gunn confirmed that Ana Nogueira will be the writer for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. On social media, Gunn stated, "A hearty public welcome to Ana to the DC Studios family. Ana is an amazing writer whose screenplay adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow is above and beyond anything I hoped it would be. We're excited to be moving forward on this unique take on Supergirl in this beautiful, star-spanning tale." Now, many of you must be asking who Ana is, and I was too. Now, if we look at her IMDb profile, she is an actress and writer, and she has been an actress far more than she has ever been a writer. She has only written one short film before, so this is a very surprising decision. Now, apparently she was hired to write the original Sasha Calle's Supergirl movie that was set after the events of The Flash, but that was scrapped after DC Studios came in. So I assume James Gunn was very impressed with that story and decided to hire her for their new Supergirl movie. Which, to be honest, makes the most sense. If you liked her story from the cancelled Supergirl movie, you might as well hire her for your new Supergirl film. The question is, will she adapt her old story for this new film or write a brand new story altogether? I doubt we will find out, but it would be an interesting answer. Now, many people are worried about her lack of writing experience, which I completely get, as I am a bit worried too. However, you have to start somewhere. If you want to be a writer or a director of any job, in fact, you have to start somewhere. Sure, this is a big leap for her. Going from writing a short film to a huge DCU movie is a big step, but clearly Gunn believes in her ability and likes what she has written. He said in his post, "Ana is an amazing writer whose screenplay adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow is above and beyond anything I hoped it would be. We're excited to be moving forward on this unique take on Supergirl in this beautiful star-spanning tale." So he is clearly impressed by her screenplay, so I'm not worried about this decision anymore. So what happens next? Well, now they have their screenplay, Gunn has confirmed he is actively looking for a director for the Supergirl movie. Now, my personal choice is Bryce Dallas Howard. I loved her episodes of The Mandalorian, and I think her next big step is to direct a superhero movie, and I think Supergirl is ideal. I love her visual style and her overall direction, and I would love to see the Supergirl movie directed by her. Once a director has been chosen, they will get to work with casting. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you see it, Sasha Calle appears to not be returning to the role of Supergirl. Deadline stated, the hope was for Calle to take on the bigger role within the DC universe, but her casting was done under the previous DC Studios administration, and before Gunn and Safran came in to take over the direction of the comic book films. So unless the director thinks she is the best fit, I don't see her returning to the role. So we will most likely be getting a new Supergirl for the DCU. For me, it's a real shame that she won't be returning because she was so happy to be Supergirl in the first place and probably was really looking forward to being Supergirl again in her own movie. However, I think for the long term it is the right decision. We need as clean of a slate as possible, and so if that means a new Supergirl, then it means a new Supergirl. What I hope and expect DC Studios to do is bring in David Corenswet to see how the chemistry is between him and their final candidates for Supergirl. They are cousins after all, and Superman is supposed to help Supergirl when she arrives on Earth, so we need to make sure that the actors work well together on screen. Variety have also provided a few more details regarding this film, confirming the film will be centered on Superman's cousin Kara Zor-El and her superdog Krypto. Now, I always expected Krypto to appear in Superman Legacy, but now we know that it will actually be in Supergirl instead. I don't know how I feel about Krypto actually being in the DCU, but I will reserve my judgments until the movie comes out. We also have some quotes from James Gunn regarding the movie. Gunn cited Tom King's comics as an inspiration and called the new film character a very different type of Supergirl, and much more hardcore. We see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he's an infant, versus Supergirl, who was raised on a rock chip off of Krypton and watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, Gunn shared. This will be a really interesting contrast between the two Kryptonians. It seems that Supergirl will be quite brutal compared to her cousin, which I actually want to see. I think it would be quite dull if she was just like Superman. Giving her this backstory will allow us to see a side to Supergirl that most don't actually know. Now, with the original news of DC Studios hiring a writer for Supergirl, it does raise one major question. Is this movie further along than we originally thought? Originally, we weren't supposed to see Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow until towards the end of Chapter 1 of the DCU. It was supposed to be one of the last films released, but based on this information coming out, it appears that this movie is actually further ahead than others. Now, I believe they have reshuffled the release model of these movies, and there has been a supposed leaked Warner Brothers schedule for the next 3 years of movies, and within that schedule are multiple DC movies. 2024 has Joker in October, 2025 has Superman Legacy in July and The Batman Part 2 in October, and 2026 has The Authority and Supergirl, both with to-be-decided dates, with Swamp Thing, Batman Brave and the Bold, and Constantine 2 all in development. So according to this leak, Supergirl will be released in 2026 along with The Authority, and Batman Brave and the Bold is still in development, so we won't see that movie at least until 2027. Which at first I thought was a shame, as I thought they should release their biggest movies first and then their smaller movies after to really kick the DCU into motion, but now I think I was thinking way too short term. I then thought of how anticlimactic it could be if we go from 3 years in a row of big superhero only movies to then 2 years of only small character movies. You'd have this unsustainable model of big character movies, and that expectation could damage the long-term impact of the DCU, whereas the model they're apparently using could be a bit better in terms of keeping the excitement going for a number of years. So instead of 3 big movies in a row followed by 2 smaller movies, they appear to be going 1 big movie, 1 small movie, 1 big movie, 1 small movie, and 1 big movie, which could actually be more beneficial to the DCU and more satisfying for fans. And that's without adding Joker 2 coming out next year, and then the Batman Part 2 also releasing after Superman Legacy. So really, even though the DCU may be going big movie, small movie, DC in general is going 3 big movies in a row and then going to the 1 big, 1 small model. And the next 2 years of DC movies are with 3 of the most iconic characters DC has ever had. So I guess they are relying on those 3 movies to at least ramp up the interest in DC. And it's probably also wise to have at least a 2-year gap between the Batman Part 2 and Batman Brave and the Bold, so they undermine each other as little as possible. They seem to have learnt from Marvel too. Marvel has become stale since they killed off their most popular characters and tried to introduce new ones. There has been this real decline in their popularity, and the MCU doesn't feel the same anymore. The DCU won't have that issue as they're focusing on both at the same time, keeping their biggest heroes very much in the mix whilst constantly introducing smaller characters, which will really allow the DCU to stay refreshing but also still feel like the DCU. It's a really good method if the movies are good enough and if audiences are interested in superhero films still. So make sure to let me know your thoughts on all of today's updates in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!